Thank you so much for joining us. I'm To The Point host Alex Bell, and over the next half hour, we're discussing the Trump transition and what the new administration could mean for California with a man who knows California all too well. Former Governor Jerry Brown. Governor Brown served 4 terms as California's governor, making him the state's longest serving governor. He was first elected governor back in 1974, succeeding Ronald Reagan, and elected to a second term as governor back in 1979. In the 1980s and 90s, the governor pursued a Senate seat and sought Democratic presidential nominations. He served 2 terms as mayor of Oakland and was once Attorney General of California. Jerry Brown took office as California governor once again for 2 terms from 2011 to 2018. Governor Brown spent more than 5 decades tackling climate change and inequality. Some of Governor's Keystone's projects include the Bullet Train and Delta Tunnels project, which are both far from complete and rely on state and federal permits and dollars. The governor also notably did not support Proposition 47 passed by voters back in 2014 that reclassified certain non-serious and non-violent property and drug offenses from felonies to misdemeanors. In November 2024, voters overwhelmingly approved Proposition 36 to increase some punishments changed by this law, which will be brought up in our one-on-one conversation with Governor Brown. Here is my one-on-one interview with the governor. You were in office during the first Trump presidency, back before Governor Gavin Newsom was sworn in 2019. I want to ask you, what were your interactions like with then President Trump, now President-elect Trump, back then?
Well, in personal contact, the only interaction was when President Trump came to visit the city of Paradise and look at the after effects of those terrible fires. So he came up, and also he went down to Malibu. So I had a chance to meet him at the air base in Yuba City, fly by helicopter to near Chico, I guess it was, and then we went back in Air Force One, the first time I was ever in, and we went down to the Malibu fires. So when I was in, I had a few minutes to spend with him in Air Force One, and he showed me around, showed me the front of the plane, the back of the plane, went to see where the press was, and I called my wife, and she said hello to President Trump, and that is the extent of my interaction.
Why do you think Trump ended up winning the election, and where does the Democratic Party go from here?
Well, remember, he won the election by 1.5 points. So it's almost a tie. Half the country, slightly more than half, wanted Trump, and slightly less than half didn't want him. So the country is profoundly divided. Why he won, now we're speculating on the opinions, the thinking of tens of millions of people. And some people voted for one reason, voted for another. But I would say, just a generalization, people saw Trump. I mean, there's a vulgarity, he tells lies, he has a history of philandering and all sorts of things. But they preferred him to the Biden-Harris administration. The inflation, the specter of so many people coming across the border, the social changes in culture, the homelessness on the streets, the retail theft and all that, that created in millions of people enough of a distaste or discomfort, dislike, that they say, okay, we want Trump. We want somebody to disrupt it. It's so bad, we're going to go for this guy. So I think it's telling us not just about Trump, but about America. And a lot of Americans are not happy with what they're seeing or what they're experiencing. So they're betting on Trump. I think many people, not all, but a number don't particularly like all the things about Trump, but they liked even less what Harris and the Democrats stood for.
They're wanting to see a change.
Definitely, and in California, Imperial County, which almost always went Democrat, voted for Trump. And Orange County, which almost always went for the Republicans, went for Harris. So you see in different communities. Imperial is Latino. It's far fewer college graduates, not as fancy as Orange County. And Orange County went Democrat. Imperial went Republican. And the same is true right here in San Joaquin County, it doesn't always go Democrat, but more often than not. And in Stanislaus County, which is more swing county, it went for Trump. And then Merced, even though it has a university there, that also went for Trump. So, but on the other hand, San Diego, which is very hard to win, went for Harris. So there is a shifting around of political loyalty. And the thing to remember is nationwide, 1.5 points separates. So we're a very divided country.
Yeah, and we know that California is seen as a Democratic leader. With a supermajority in the legislature, there is a real opportunity to pass progressive legislation. But I want to ask you, under a second Trump administration, what do you think are going to be California's biggest challenges?
Well, I think the challenges of California are the challenges of the country. I think inflation is starting to come under control, but there's millions of people who can't afford to buy a home, spend a tremendous amount of their money on rent, uncertainty in their job prospects. If they don't have health insurance, they're really in trouble. So there are conditions that are experienced by people throughout America. In fact, in many ways, California, for many, is better, but for millions, it is not. And so the same problems, but they won't have quite the same helping hand that they got under Biden. Biden enacted, well, under Obama, we got the Obamacare, and it was enhanced by President Biden. And on the climate front, which is more long range in its implications, Biden was extraordinary, and Trump's going to go the other way.
I do want to talk about immigration for a second. Obviously, that is top of mind for a lot of people here in California. You signed SB 54, the so-called sanctuary state law, and it's still a topic of conversation to this day. A lot of people saying that California is not following federal immigration law and that California should have its federal funds revoked. What is your response to that?
Well, the bill that I signed had a number of exceptions. In other words, people who were convicted of violent crimes, or even not always serious crimes, were not getting any benefit of any so-called sanctuary. So it was a matter of having state officials handle state-level matters and not try to play like they do in Texas, that they're federal officials. Subsequent legislation, I think, has taken it broader, and some of the cities, like San Francisco, have gone way beyond in their effort to create a wall, almost a separation of state and federal government. I think that is going to prove difficult, but now Democrats are responding, saying we need to control the border, we need a more regular process to bring immigrants in. The fact is that we very much depend on immigrants, but we should have a process, and the Republicans have disrupted that. Now under Trump, they'll probably, we may have hope to get a good process by which people can come into America, be screened, and do it in a lawful way. And the numbers are going to have to be restricted substantially. And this is not just an American thing. In Germany, the German government just fell, in part because of fears of the changing of the society because of the influx of immigrants. That's happened all over Europe. So it's a worldwide phenomenon that the hardships in one place are leading people to move to a place that they believe would be much better. But the people in those places that are better don't want to risk it by sharing it with so many newcomers.
For people that are saying that California is not following federal immigration law, do you think that that's accurate? Do you think that California should lose federal funding?
No. First of all, I can't speak for every local government,
right.
But certainly at the state level, the state follows its laws, and the federal government has its own immigration service, its own FBI, its own drug enforcement agency, DEA. They can do what they're supposed to do. And certainly there is a level of cooperation, but we're not handing people over to the federal government. But the federal government certainly can show up wherever they want to show up. And if someone is not here legally, then they're subject to deportation. I'm hoping that Trump is going to be far more limited than his hyperbolic rhetoric might suggest.
I want to talk about Prop 47. This has been a huge issue in California. A lot of people talking about this. It was passed by voters back when you were governor. Did you support Prop 47?
No, I did not support 47.
Why not?
Because I think it went too far. I supported Prop 57, which enabled individuals who had been incarcerated in our prisons for a long period of time to have the opportunity to go before the parole board. And it also created the system of good credits so that if people followed the rules, stayed out of gangs, and tried to improve themselves by skill training or some other rehabilitation program, they could get out earlier. That's Prop 57. Now, 2 years later, a group of activists came up with 47, and that it actually wasn't, well, I think it went too far, but then the courts and the district attorneys, then they stopped following misdemeanor. Misdemeanors became something they never deal with. So theft, retail theft, shooting up with heroin, that's a felony, or methamphetamine or fentanyl, it's going on in these big cities, Sacramento, San Francisco, LA. So that specter really got people excited. And unfortunately, the bill that got rid of 47 went beyond. But I think 47, the legislature should have seen the writing on the wall and just put a simple abolition, repeal on the ballot. But there it is. And I do think it's a little strange that people can basically sell heroin, take heroin, shoot up against the law. It is against the law, and a misdemeanor can be a year in jail. If you have a retail theft, whether it's $500 or $300 or before, if you do a couple of them, you get $900, you can go to jail for 2 or 3 years, but no one did. And so they're arrested, they don't have bail anymore if they're poor because they can't afford it, so they immediately leave and they go commit another crime, they're arrested, and a few minutes later they're let out. And then the public defenders keep it delayed so they never come, and then people say, well, the jails are bad, so we don't like jail. Well, that's a problem. So Prop 36 came along, repeals 47, and provides a hammer. By the way, the hammer can be helpful because then people can, as that measure says, you go to rehabilitation or you go to prison or you go to local jail. And that could be helpful because the rehabilitation programs have been been diminishing. People say, why go to rehabilitation? I can just go take my heroin, do whatever I want to do. So the people were fed up with that. They voted 36 overwhelmingly, and I understand why they did it, because the existing law was just ignored massively, and I still can't get an explanation for that. I've asked judges and district attorneys, why didn't you use the misdemeanor sanction? So you needed $900, but there's other things. They have dope, they have other offenses, they could have been arrested. And the whole system just basically broke down, and the Prop 36 is, it's not a perfect thing at all. It's got real flaws, but it's a reaction to something that was overkill and went too far.
Yeah, I think a lot of people seeing Prop 36 pass, you could tell they were tired of Prop 47 and how it changed the state.
I don't think anybody knows what the hell 47 is, but they're tired of people running in stores, grabbing something and running out. I saw that myself. I was in a store in Sacramento a couple of years ago. A guy runs in, he's kind of on jogging shorts, he picks stuff up, runs right past me, out the door, past the security guard. Well, that's shocking. And then in San Francisco, I walk by, see people just shooting themselves up happily. This is crazy. So 36 has flaws, but it's very understandable that people want some action.
I want to talk about the bullet train and the high-speed rail. This is an effort that you led to start the construction on the high-speed rail, which run from LA to San Francisco. The first route is going to go from Merced to Bakersfield. The project has since been described by some people as a financial mess, and it does rely partially on federal funding. Very recently, Congressman Kevin Kiley and Elon Musk, they both have come out and said that they want to stop this project. What is your response to their efforts in trying to stop this?
Well, I understand Elon Musk. He has a competing system. He has this underground boring system that you can get in some kind of a tube, and they can rush you underground, like you're some kind of a rat, and bring you up on the other side. So that's the Musk plan, okay? Really, far out thing. He doesn't like the bullet train. In fact, he told Governor Newsom a long time ago, don't be for that bullet train. Well, the fact is, we talk about competing with China. China has 20,000 miles of high-speed rail. I've ridden on it. It's fantastic. Paris has this. Great Britain, Germany. If we want to be great, make America great again, we ought to have a rail system. Because all these cars on the freeway, I drive I-80, and it's many, many times you're just backed up. We need high-speed rail connecting the major metropolitan areas. Yes, it costs money, tens of billions. So a lot of things cost money. They're expensive. So does our intercontinental ballistic missile system. It's going to cost $130 billion, and you can't use it. Because if you fire one of them, the Russians will fire back, and we'll all be gone. So we're building a complete boondoggle called the ICBM, nuclear weapons to destroy the world, and we're not even putting the same money. So I say fewer, not bullets, we want a bullet train and a high-speed rail. Yeah, I know the critics, and I know it takes time. I hope the thing gets finished before I kick the bucket. It's not clear that I will. They're talking 2030. So here we go. I'm 86. I'm hanging on until I can get on that high-speed rail and go from Merced to Fresno.
You think it's taking too long?
Yes, it's taking too long, but everything takes too long. Regulation, I mean, there's a lot of regulations, and they wrote the bill, the authors, they want to micromanage, so they put it in, the management couldn't move the alignment in response to what they found when they started building it. And then you have local cities like Kings County, they didn't want it, so they sued us. We had hundreds of lawsuits, so the lawyers had a field day. But that's what it takes to build things. And we're moving ahead. Yeah, Trump will slow it down. He's not going to give any federal money, but we got state money. We got the cap and trade funds. It's something we'll be very proud of. It'll be like the Golden Gate Bridge. When the Panama Canal was proposed, people say you can't build a canal from the Pacific over to the Gulf, but they finally got it built. Same thing with the Golden Gate Bridge. Same thing with BART. They said you can't do it. Now the problem with all these things, you need public money. Whereas with cars, you just have people borrow as they get their loan, they get their car, but it's far less efficient. And it shouldn't be the only option. People can have a car, but they don't have the option of a train ride.
I do want to talk about climate. I know that this has been a passion of yours still to this day. What climate policies do you think are going to be at risk under a second Trump administration?
Most of them. Trump has said on day one, it's drill, baby, drill, okay? Even though we're producing more oil in America than any other country in the whole world. So we are the oil barons of the world. But Mr. Trump wants to even be a baron plus. Now that's going to create, he will dismantle a large part of the climate regime, the climate laws of America. But I think that is going to galvanize a reaction and build a grassroots climate movement far more powerful than it ever was. Because the truth is that even under Biden, although he did more than anybody else, not enough. The climate is warming. The earth is warming. We're going to get more floods. We're going to get another flood like we had here in 1856, where the water went from Yuba City to below Modesto. And if that happens, you're talking tens of billions. I mean, it'll be the biggest wipeout of all time. And why is that? Because as the earth warms, you get more moisture and you get more extreme events. So you get droughts, but you get massive rains, storms, and floods. And when those come, Katie bar the door. So we've got to deal with climate. We have to make ourselves more resilient, and we have to reduce the emissions that daily are coming out of America, China, and the whole world. So that is just the facts. And Trump can try to stop it for a while, will stop it for a while, but he's not going to stop emissions, and therefore the problem and the suffering will occur, and people will react, but they'll just react a couple of years later.
What advice would you give Governor Gavin Newsom heading into the new year?
I don't like to give advice.
You don't like to give advice?
To a successor. Ronald Reagan preceded me as governor of California, and he never gave me advice. Arnold Schwarzenegger preceded me as governor of California. He never gave me advice. So I'm not going to give any advice to Newsom. If he wants some privately, he can call me. I have a few thoughts.
And one last question. Who do you have your eye on for governor of California in 2026?
I have my eyes on all of them. I'm not going to tell you who. Well, first of all, it's too early. They have to come out and start talking and see what they have to say. So it's a little early yet. So keep our eyes open. That's
I'll
what
be
I
calling
would say.
you. I'll be circling back with you.
Call me.
Thank you so much. I
Sure.
appreciate your time.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Alex Bell. Join me weeknights at 6:30 on To The Point. Instead of just reporting on the problems, we cut through the noise and look for solutions. We're not afraid to investigate local stories. We're not afraid to include different perspectives. We're not afraid to hold those in power accountable. This is your community, and it's my community too, and we're here to make it better for everyone. Join me, Alex Bell, on To The Point, weeknights at 6:30, only on ABC 10.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To The Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To The Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To The Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.